Everyone, welcome to Creating Product Solutions. In this chapter, we'll be understanding the idea of adding value through product solutions. What does it mean to actually provide a solution? And then we're going to really think about becoming an expert in product knowledge, an expert in terms of company knowledge, also becoming an expert in trends, and also the competition of your product, and understand where we can find some information regarding our product, the competitor's product, and some industry information. Finally, we'll be discussing features and benefits, and what does it mean to have a feature benefit strategy? How do we add value? So first, let's take a look at our product strategy. Now, in this course, we're going to really focus in on the Park Shores Resort. Okay, so this is really our product, and we have to understand what our offerings are, right? So obviously we have our hotel itself, food and beverage, some of the facilities we can see here. But when we talk about a product, we want to understand that it encompasses information, services, ideas, tangible products, and some combination that satisfies the customer's needs with the right solution. So a product strategy has to really be a plan that emphasizes, again, our product knowledge, but also we really need to sell specific benefits and understand how to configure value-added solutions for the customer. Okay, so we're trying to help them make a correct decision concerning the selection and positioning of the products that meet the identified customer needs. Now, again, really, really important to understand the difference between selling a solution versus selling a product. So when we talk about selling a solution, it's really a mutually shared answer to a recognized customer problem. In the sales, a solution is more than a specific product. It provides a measurable result, such as a greater productivity, increased profits, or less turnover. So when we're selling a solution, we're really trying to understand first what is the problem or what might be the challenges that a customer has. And that's going to be something we're going to do throughout the sales process. And that's really important to focus on. Okay, so first is understanding the customer before we can actually even provide a solution. We have to understand what certain challenges or problems they might have. Now, this really focuses on the making sure that we're providing a specific customized strategy for that customer, right? So we're becoming more consultative rather than selling. We're becoming consultants, trying to understand what is it that the customer needs and how do we satisfy that need. Now, we want to focus and discuss the proposal and the sales letter because it's going to be part of your project. And this is also part of understanding and communicating that we're being able to provide the solution for the customer. So a written proposal is really often part of a product strategy. Okay, and there's 5 parts. So first is obviously the budget and the overview. Okay, so when we're talking about the budget, we have to be very specific on the cost of the solution, right? And we're going to do that particularly in our proposal. We're going to outline, if we're focusing on the Park Shore Resort, any meeting or food and beverage or rooms that they might need. We have to be very specific on what we're offering to the guests and what price, right? So that it's very clear. We also want to have an objective. Okay, so this objective should really focus on the benefits of why we want to offer this solution to the customer. And this will become a little bit more recognized as we go through the assignment. You understand what we mean by the benefits. Okay, and we'll talk more about features versus benefits in a moment. Next is the strategy, right? So whenever there's an objective, we also have to discuss how we're going to meet that objective. So our strategy is going to talk or discuss how you're going to go about meeting those objectives in your proposal. Maybe talk about who's going to be handling the account. That's going to help us understand how we'll actually meet that objective. Also, in terms of being detailed and specific, we need to understand the schedule. So when are we actually going to book this event? what days is on, at what time. Is there going to be meetings time? Is there going to be F&B event? Figure out the actual schedule. Again, make it very compelling that this can happen in our hotel at a certain time. And finally, the rationale. Okay, and this is important because this is where we have an opportunity to add a little bit of emotion, but we want to mix logic and emotion and present our rationale. Why is it so important that we're going to take on this event? We have to make sure that they understand that we're really excited about it, and we're going to emphasize the benefits of this event and how it can be beneficial for the customer. So that's the written proposal. Okay. Again, there is a template that we can use, and this is going to help us really figure out the details of this proposal. But along with that, there's also the sales letter itself. Okay, so this is going to be a written document, typically about 1 page. And please take a look at some of the tips and the formatting to make sure that we build a strong sales letter. Here is just some standards in terms of what to expect. Okay, obviously the way it looks is important, so think about the letterhead. The spacing is also important. Again, there are some examples and there are some tips that you can reference. Obviously, you want to make sure that we have proper punctuation, grammar, and spelling. Okay, so it's well edited. You took the time to make it written fluently. And of course, we want to minimize the use of personal pronouns. Okay, so we want to address our customer by name, and we don't really want to talk about I. We want to talk about what can be offered for the guest. Really focus on the guest. Okay, so again, I would strongly recommend taking a look at the selling in action. This is going to help you get some more guidelines on writing an effective sales letter. So again, this is really part of our product strategy. And it's really an important skill to have, is to be able to write an effective sales letter and understand how to submit a proper proposal so that we can have an opportunity to secure business. Now, in terms of learning about our product, well, that's also important, because as the picture here, it sort of indicates that we're going to be building some trust. Okay, so you're going to do a trust fall with your, not going to actually do one, but again, we want to build trust. And a great way to build trust with your prospective buyer is to be an expert on your product. So you should understand how many rooms we have at our hotel, understand the pricing of the hotel, what we have to offer, because if we're going to be able to sell a solution to their problem, we need to understand what we have, what resources we have to be able to do so. Okay, so it's important to become a product expert. So I strongly recommend you look through the appendix document, take a look at their description, right? What is it that they have to offer? That's really important. And understand that you want to be aligned with their description in terms of your organizational culture. Okay, what are their beliefs, behaviors, and patterns? And make sure that we're aligned with the hotel. Remember, you've become hired onto this hotel, so you really want to be aligned with their company. In regards to the values, again, really important to be focusing on the same sort of goals. Okay, so again, look at the strong relationship. Notice how it says solving customer problems, right? And again, we'll figure out how to uncover more problems as we go through it. But really, really important that we're aligned together, that we understand what the goals are for our hotel, and that we have those same goals. Now, that's good that we understand our hotel, we understand the vision, but we also have to understand the competition. And again, there's some great documentation throughout the appendix. Particularly here, we can see the different pricing, not only our own hotel, but what the competitors are offering. And that's really important, particularly if you want to be an effective salesperson. You have to understand what other buyer options are out there so that we can figure out ways to stress the benefit and the value that we can offer in comparison to our competitors. Also good to know is the different trends that's happening. Okay, so when we look specifically at our events or industry, we're going to take a look at the MICE trends. Okay, so meetings, incentive, conferencing, and exhibitions. That's what we mean by MICE. Okay, now of course there's been a lot of changes in the world that's caused some different trends. So we'll discuss more about that. You'll have an opportunity to do some research on that, and maybe even be able to use it to help sell your product or your solution to your guest. Okay. Really important too is understand where can we find information. So again, we have some information that was provided in our appendix, but when we actually go out into the real world, it's very helpful to take a look at the competitors' websites, for instance. So I can take a look at the Marriott and see, what are they offering. Obviously, we can see their room rates, their floor plans, their meeting space, what they have to offer. Some other good tools and resources are Salesforce or Cvent. Okay, these are some excellent companies that help us have a deeper connection with our guests, understand what they're looking for. It's an opportunity to actually submit our request for proposals, so we have an opportunity to sell. Okay, but they also have good sources of information for also what the buyers are looking for as well. Now, finally, let's talk about the feature benefit strategy and what do we mean by that. So, what do we mean? First, we should figure out what the difference between a feature and a benefit is. Okay, so a feature is something that just includes sort of the data and the facts and the characteristics of a product. Okay, so an example here might be that our hotel conference rooms were recently redecorated. So this is a feature, it's a fact, okay? But what is a benefit? Well, the benefit is what is the benefit it provides for the customer? What's the advantage or the gain because of this feature, right? So this is what we really want to sell. So in regards to the redecorated rooms or the hotel conference room, we can say that when the benefit to the guests is that their meetings will be held in an attractive and comfortable location. And it can be very helpful if you actually show them that benefit. Ideally, you can even, if you could actually sit in that room while you're trying to sell this, and that can be more impactful as well. But this is what we mean. We don't want to focus on the feature. We really want to focus on the benefit, right? And the more that we can do that, the more likely we can be effective as salespeople. So some more examples here in terms of not only the facilities but food service. So take a moment to look at that, okay, and understand why we're so focused in on the benefits. And hopefully you can see, even in your own perspective, why it can be more advantageous to talk about the benefit. And really, the idea of this is that we're creating a customer-oriented perspective, okay? That's really important. And it shows that you've actually taken the time to understand how these features are relevant to the customer and why we're talking about their benefit rather than specifically the feature. Okay, so that's just very important. And we will talk more about this, and you will have an opportunity to sell the benefits as you go through the role play and finally make your presentation. So that's been our Creating Product Solution video. Take a moment to take a look at review the questions here. You should be able to explain or discuss these objectives just as we've gone through the video. Read the textbook and we'll discuss further. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you shortly.